What is happening, sports fans? It's your main man, Matt from the DFS 5 Pack. Finally back with you. Hopefully, everyone had a great holiday weekend. Excuse me. We got some MLB to discuss. 13 games on the docket. Not too many weather concerns. I know the Colorado game is pretty iffy, but that also might be good to go. So that's really the only spot that we're worried about tonight. Other than that, looks like there's hot weather throughout. Um, yeah, it's always exciting to get on here and talk some baseball. So I can't wait to do that. Before I hop into the MLB, let me shout out our promoter real quick. So ABC Islands, if you haven't checked them out, I don't know what you're waiting for. The link and the promo code will be in the description section. We've had a bunch of people already on there winning money, so I suggest you go check out that description section and hop on there. It's a really cool book. Again, I encourage, I would appreciate everyone going to check that out. Once again, the link and the promo code will be in the description section. And with that being said, let's talk out some baseball. 13 games, big Tuesday night slate. Feels like a Monday, but yeah, let's hop on here and get after it. I'm going to share this screen and dive right in. Hold on, my computer's going really slow. There we go. Now we should be good to go. All right, I'm going to do it position by position. Pitching options aren't great tonight. So Giolito up top looks pretty good. I mean, he's one of the better pitchers on the slate for sure. You could make the argument he's the best pitcher on the slate. Not a great spot. You know, Toronto has really picked it up as of late. They struggled to start the year, but they've gotten hot recently. I'm not excited about facing them, although a guy like Giolito is matchup proof. Always prefer facing Toronto with righties. So I like Giolito here. He's certainly on the short list, if not like, you know, while he's not like my top option, he's definitely high on the short list, I should say. Eric Lauer, no thanks. Wind blowing out in Wrigley. He came back down to earth, he came back down to earth big time against St. Louis last time out. He was really good before that. He's having a great year. I struggle to spend like 10K on him in this spot. I don't love many pitchers on the slate, though. So that's, I guess, the only argument I can make for him. Is that there isn't any starter up tonight. I'm like, oh, I need to lock him in. I just don't feel that way about anyone. Yeah, winds are blowing out here. Might see some potential storms prior to the game and maybe a delay, but nothing too serious. I think Gausman looks like the top SP on the slate, you know, coming in under 10K, having a monster year. The White Sox just aren't that great right now. Missing Tim Anderson. They're always better against left-handed pitching. You know, missing their leadoff hitter certainly doesn't help them. I like Gausman quite a bit here. I think he looks really, really good in all formats. Let me see where ownership's coming in on him. I'm pretty sure he's getting a lot of love, deservedly so. Yeah, he's coming in as the highest owned pitcher. Him and Javier are getting about the same amount of love, and it just makes sense. You know, the White Sox just haven't been great this year, especially against right-handed pitching. No Anderson just makes me like him even more. And then speaking of Javier, on a really nice stretch right now, dominated Cleveland and Texas. I mean, he was really good in that Cleveland start, struck out like the first 6 guys, you know, following up a really, really nice outing against the Rangers. Now in Oakland. I ate the Framber Valdez chalk yesterday. I don't feel great about Javier here, but he's certainly like wildly in play. I'm just not really buying his strikeout stuff recently. I know he was K'd 9 back-to-back games, but if you look at the game log prior to that, that's just not who he is. So while it could happen tonight, I'm reluctant to spend this money on him as chalk. Looking to the other side of this game, Frankie Montas coming off a really, really nice outing against the Rangers. He took the L, but struck out 11 guys. He's been dominant in 2 out of his past 3. He's interesting. I never want to face Houston, but you might have Altuve out and Tucker out. All of a sudden, the bottom of this lineup is pretty weak. I want to see if those guys are out. If they're in, I don't like Montas, but if both Tucker and Altuve are out, he definitely moves up the short list. And normally I don't care about 1 or 2 players being in or out, But Tucker and Altuve are really good hitters that don't strike out a ton. So my interest in Montas would certainly increase if those guys out. Charlie Morton, he might be over the hill. I'm not confirming that or saying I definitely feel that way, but I'm not using him on a 13-game slate, even if the matchup isn't bad. It's not great either. Arizona doesn't strike out a ton. They've certainly been better since the beginning of the year. I'm not a Morton fan tonight. Julio Urias, I like him here. He wasn't great last time out in Washington. He also wasn't great in Pittsburgh as chalk when he faced them on the 9th of May. However, right back in that same spot at home against a weak Pirates lineup. I don't think he's got crazy high upside here just because he doesn't throw a ton of pitches and he doesn't strike out a ton of guys. But if you're looking for around 20 DK points, I think Urias is your guy, and you can feel really, really good with that. The Dodgers are like minus 350, 400 favorites here. So Urias looks like in a good spot to get a win. And that only helps his cause. Martin Perez, I mean, what a year he's having. Check out the game log. I mean, this dude is just absolutely balling. Start of the year, not great, but he's not given up a home run all year. That's wild. And that could certainly come crashing down at any moment. But as of now, I'll give him his props. I'm not looking to use him at 8,900 against Tampa, but I haven't used him once, and that might be my bias here. Is I just haven't been on him. Man, not going to get much love. I think in tournaments, he's worth a look, but I struggle to get there. Adam Wainwright, strikeout upside just isn't there right now. Kind of reminding me of Charlie Morton. I'm not using him here. I actually have a little bit of interest in the San Diego bats, namely Machado, who in his last 2 at-bats flew out to, just missed, flew out to deep left field, and then singled up the middle in the 9th. So I like Machado here. I'm not interested in Wainwright. Luis Castillo, really tough spot for him against Boston and Fenway. I'm a Castillo fan, but I'm not really trying to use him here at 8,400. His strikeout upside's real, so I think that's the case for him. The Red Sox are pretty right-handed heavy, and he is cheap enough where I think you can start thinking about it. I like him over Blake Snell, that's for sure. I view them as similar-ish. I like the matchup. The matchups are similar to me. A lefty going into St. Louis is never appealing. I mean, I think you can make a case for the St. Louis bats. We know Snell gives up hard contact. The Cardinals have big right-handed power throughout their lineup. I'm not interested in Snell, full knowing that, he could dominate any given matchup he's in. Montgomery, no thanks. Steele, no. Syndergaard, no. Yarborough, no. Waka, no. Trevor Williams, no. Mitch Keller, definitely not. Then we get to George Kirby. I'm a little bit interested in Kirby. Not getting a ton of love. I love his stuff. He's certainly not polished yet. He came up from Double-A. I don't know. 6,600. I'm looking for a cheap arm because there's a lot of expensive bats I like. He's right at the top of that list. Also, Herman Marquez, not having a great year. I mean, check that ERA, 1-5 on the season. Wasn't good last time out against Washington. But I'm still a believer in his stuff at this price point in a good matchup against Miami. And listen, I know that it's in Coors, but he's pitched in Coors throughout his entire career. Still a good spot against Miami. I'm interested in Marquez if this game plays. Castellanos, Corbin, Wentz, Aiken, no, on any of them. Not interested in a single one of them. All right, let's talk some offense. So, catcher. Let's see one thing real quick, guys. All right, so it looks like, the catchers in the Cubs Brewers game are getting the most love. The Brewers are definitely going to be more popular than the Cubs, but Wilson Contreras, the lefty with the wind, or against the lefty with the wind blowing out, and Wrigley is going to get love, deservedly so. So in cash games, I think you're looking at him or Narvaez, who will presumably be in the lineup against Steele. Actually, I don't know. It might be Caratini, a switch hitter. So whichever Brewers catcher's in there is definitely wildly in play. From a tournament perspective, I mean, I think you can look at quite a few guys here. I think the Dodgers are in play. Will Smith. I don't mind some Reds exposure here. So Tyler Stevenson in play for me. I like Joey Votto a lot. He's got great numbers off Waka. Little mini stack there makes some sense. The Braves look pretty good. So both Contrerases, William Contreras is crazy expensive. Having a good year, but crazy expensive. And then Travis d'Arnaud in play for me for sure. We go down a little bit. No one at catcher really stood out to me when I was looking at this slate. I mean, we have to wait and see lineups before I really make that call. But, Sam Huff, if he makes the lineup, in play. Austin Nola had a couple hits yesterday. As I mentioned, I'm on a couple pieces of that offense. And then we might get a couple cheap guys. So in cash games, I think you're looking at the Brewers, Cubs guys. And then in tournaments, we'll have to wait and see on lineups. Then also like Will Smith and whoever's catching for the Twins is going to be in play. If Sanchez DHs him too. All right, first base, loaded position tonight. It looks like Pete Alonso is going to get the most love, and he's probably the guy you want to go to in cash games. Although pricing is kind of tight tonight, so you can't just roster whoever you want. Alonso looks too cheap at 52, 13 bombs on the year, having a really nice year. This Mets offense is just elite, and Alonso at 5,200 looks great here. I think that Goldie at 58 or 57, against a lefty, I mean, having a monster year, won't get any love. Blake Snell is good, but we know when he gets hit hard. I mentioned Marquez, but on the other side of it, Miami is certainly in play. I think the Braves are in play tonight. Matt Olson looks good in this spot. Seattle's in a really good spot in Baltimore against Baker and Aiken, two guys that you're certainly not worried about. I think Washington's in a good spot against Trevor Williams, Josh Bell, Soto, Nelson Cruz. These guys are pretty cheap with high-end pitching options on the slate. I don't mind that at all. Keston Hiura, he'll probably be in the lineup. Don't hate him. Spencer Torkelson, playing good ball right now. He's in the lineup. We'll have to see what these Tigers do today and who's in the lineup tonight. But both sides of that game are in a good spot. Man, first is loaded. Just a loaded slate offensively for sure. Another guy is Pavin Smith, who I wanted to shout out. Homered last night. I'm not scared of Morton at all right now. So I don't think me picking some Arizona pieces is crazy one bit. All right, second base. Boston is in play every slate right now, and even against Castillo today is no different. Drury seems overpriced. So does Albies, even though I like Atlanta. Altuve may or may not be in the lineup. If this game plays, Jazz looks great. I imagine he gets love. I'm liking Tommy Edman right now. Just playing good ball, leading off for St. Louis, switch hitter, runs. I'm a fan. Polanco, as I mentioned, the Twins are in a good spot here for sure. I haven't even mentioned Colorado yet at home against Cabrera. Edward Cabrera is a really intriguing pitching prospect, but hasn't put it together in the major league level, not even having a great year in the minors so far. He's got big strikeout upside, but again, another guy at first is CJ Cron and then Brendan Rodgers in that Rocky stacks, double digits back-to-back games. Speaking of double digits, Marcus Semien, red hot right now after really struggling to start the year. Jake Cronenworth had a couple hits. I don't mind him. I think we might see him in the upper half of that lineup tonight. Luis Rengifo, if you need a cheap guy, should be in the middle of that lineup. He's a switch hitter who gets on base a lot. Yeah, again, we'll have to wait and see lineups of any really, really cheap guys. I guess actually, Nolan Gorman at 2,400. Elite power, 3 for 3 with a walk yesterday. He's way too cheap. I'm interested. He just makes me like St. Louis even more. I don't think St. Louis gets any love. And Gorman, Goldie, Arenado, he like offsets the price of Goldie because he's so cheap. Gorman, that is. All right, third base. Let's see who's getting a lot at third. So the Mets continue to pull ownership. Eduardo Escobar, you are going to need to save some salary somewhere. So that makes sense. Where's he at? He's 36. I'm not excited about that, though. Like, not at all. Ownership's just really spread around here. JD Davis also getting love. He'll be in the middle of that lineup against the lefty. He really salary. He is 2,600, so he makes some sense there, especially in cash games. I mentioned I like Machado. I like him a lot in tournaments. I think we're going to see a really big game from him soon. I like the Dodgers sack, so Justin Turner fits nicely there. The Braves and Austin Riley, he's a little bit cheaper. The Mariners and Eugenio Suarez. I mentioned the Reds. Mike Moustakas fits in there. Oh, the other guy I didn't at first was Joey Votto, probably my favorite first baseman on the slate. Big numbers off Waka. Really nice ballpark for him here. I like Votto a lot. I don't think anyone will be on him. Sorry to go off there, but I wanted to call that out. Bunch of good options, but no one really like stands out. Interested to see where Guillorme is tonight. Has been leading off. We'll see if he stays there lefty on lefty. If so, wildly in play. I mean, he's in play anyways, but if he's leading off, only like him more. Matt Carpenter should be in the middle of that Yankees lineup. Don't hate it. Not afraid of Syndergaard, and they will run. So not that the Yankees have speed, or I think Matt Carpenter's stealing bags, but they will run if they get on base. All right. Shortstop. Top two guys look great. Trey Turner and that Dodger stack, and then Francisco Lindor, who's having a really, really good year. On fire right now, averaging more DK points per game than Trey Turner. So that should tell you all you need to know. Luis Urias, I imagine he will be popular with the wind blowing out in Wrigley. Yeah, it looks like him and Turner are getting the most love. Javier Baez also picking up ownership. I don't know why he's going to be popular. He is just not having a good year, but we know he's got power upside and speed upside as well. JP Crawford in that Seattle stack. I like how Cronenworth has shortstop eligibility too. Shortstop's a little bit weaker today, but that's kind of per usual. So, I think in cash games, you're definitely looking at Urias or Turner if you have the money, with Lindor as a nice pivot option in tournaments. And then, whoever you're stacking, there's some cheaper options. Garrett Hampson with a monster game yesterday. I like that Colorado stack if that game plays. All right, outfield, talk about being loaded. I mean, it is absolutely insanely loaded here. So I think first and foremost, I want to start with Milwaukee. Andrew McCutchen, 3,300, probably leading off tonight. Not having a great year, but he's got a track record for days, and, steel's not very good. Wind blowing out at Wrigley, you guys know the deal. And then Tyrone Taylor. Homers in both games yesterday. 10-plus in 3 straight. 3,100. Will be popular, and for very, very good reason. Then you get the usual suspects like Byron Buxton. Will get love, as he should. Aaron Judge, Mookie Betts, Starling Marte will get love after the monster game yesterday. Ronald Acuna should get some love for sure. Kyle Garlick will get love. He's 2,200. I know they play today, but facing a lefty, he'll be right in the middle of that lineup. He looks good. And then in tournaments, I think there's a ton of different places to go. I like Mike Trout. I mean, what's not to like? It's Mike Trout. I like Charlie Blackmon a lot. Probably leading off. I like Taylor Ward. I like the Reds guys. Tommy Pham. Nick Senzel at 2,400. Jesse Winker, the Mariners guys are wildly in play. Profar with 3 hits yesterday. It's an absolutely loaded slate. No matter how many lineups you make, you're not going to be able to play everyone you want. So just know that going in. I mentioned Cruz earlier. There's just a ton to like on this slate. It's a loaded slate, and I'm excited to play it. I'll be around all afternoon if you guys got questions. Again, this is a members only video, free to the public. My schedule's been completely off with having the baby and then my wife having surgery. So everything should be getting back to normal sooner rather than later. I'm excited for that. As I was saying, I am around all afternoon if you guys have questions. If you want more info, more content, more write-ups, more videos, any of that stuff, go check out the DFS 5-pack. Love to have you over there. Hopefully, as I said, everyone had a great Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully, everyone has a great rest of their Tuesday, and let's crush this slate tonight. Thanks as always, guys. Catch you on the flip side tomorrow.